Hi, this is Wyatt from CJC Off-Road, and I'm going to give you a little rundown on doing tips and tricks to help make your life easier as you do ball joints on your early 03 to 12 trucks. Now, on your 3rd gen, early 4th gens, what I like to do is come in here and depress the caliper a little bit just to take a little drag off of the brakes from hitting the rotor here. I do that just literally so it's easier, hang them off to the side. So here's a closer look at where I'm prying at when I'm going inside the caliper. You could use a small pry bar. In this case, I know a screwdriver isn't a pry bar, but I use it anyways. What I like to do is literally get inside the vane. These little veins right here for the ventilation of the rotor, they're really strong. So you could pry against that, and that will literally move back the piston inside the caliper bracket there. And then another thing I'd like to do is pop off the steering linkage right here, just so I can have free movement to move the knuckle back and forth so I can get to these hub bolts. Once I get to these hub bolts, pull the part off and literally go to town on the ball joints. Another thing I like to talk about is you don't necessarily have to take apart the hub on these trucks. Some people do, some people don't. What I like to do is I like to make it a lot easier in my life, so I literally just take everything apart, rotors, steering linkage, pull the rotor off. There's gonna be 4 bolts on the back of this hub. And once you loosen those 4 bolts, depending on how stuck on the axle is to the hub and all that, you can literally just pop this out as one assembly and just pull the axle and the hub out as one assembly, just to make your life a little easier to get this knuckle off the actual C of the axle here. All right, so we're gonna get ready to pull the axle shaft out of the tube here. I'm pulling it as an assembly, so the only thing you should do, really be worried about when you're pulling it, is the seal inside the tube there and how heavy this is gonna be. Since I'm pulling it as an assembly, it is gonna be a little bit laborsome to pull it out, but with a little bit of muscle and elbow grease, you should be able to pull it out just fine. What I like to do is right here on the actual metal of the frame of the axle shaft and the C of the axle, I like to just give it a little pry right there. Now, depending on how bad your truck is and how frozen it is, will differentiate how this is gonna pop out. But literally, it'll pop out really easy and like that. Now, as you pull it out, you should support the axle shaft here. There is a seal in your differential there that you wanna protect and maintain as you pull this out. If you pull it out, maintain it, make sure it's supported as you pull it out, it should be fine and you should have no trouble. Don't rip it out, because if you do that, you more than likely might have trouble down the road with oil leaks coming from your differential. Just one of those little things to look out for as you're pulling this apart. Now, another thing, when you pull ball joints off a vehicle, sometimes when you have parts store ball joints in them, they overbore the actual ball joint when they press them in. So it changes the actual size of this on the C of the axle here. So one of the things we like to do sometimes, some people like to get a little tack weld in there and grind it off and just give it a little bit more raised area. If you just take a punch, this is something you could do at home, take a punch in there with a pretty decent sized hammer and raise the surface up by pinging it a million times with the punch. That'll raise the surface area of the metal enough to where it'll give you all the grip you need to seat this ball joint in. All right, so we just finished wrapping up this ball joint install. If you need further information on how to actually do it closer and all that in person, we have a video for it already on our YouTube. But these are just a little tips and tricks we've learned along the way to help you guys out, especially to those who aren't so fortunate to have a lift to do it. This way, just little things to help you out. If you have any questions, comment below or email or call us. Have a nice day.